is upon us. Do not mind the very loud cicadas that are right outside of my apartment. That is Japanese summer for you. I want to take a look at what anime aired in spring 2022 and tell you guys my top 5 favorites. Now, this was a very overwhelming season for me compared to what I think has been a little bit lacking in the last couple of years. There was just so much that I did not get to, unfortunately. But out of the ones that I did, here are my top 5 anime that aired in spring 2022. No honorable mention this time, just going to jump right into number 5, and that is Tomodachi Game. This is actually a very surprising one to be put on my list because I kind of felt like I grew out of these darker, trying a little bit too hard, edgy kind of shows, but for some reason Tomodachi Game kept me hooked on it. Now, I will go ahead and say that a lot of people do compare Tomodachi Game to Squid Game because it is a show about a group of people, in this case high school students, Japanese high school students, who play these like really intense games for the sake of paying off a debt. So naturally everyone's like, oh, it's like Squid Game the anime, but I want to say that the manga for Tomodachi Game had been out longer, so I don't think it's like trying to copy Squid Game. I've never seen Squid Game, I don't know that much about it, so I went into watching this anime kind of not thinking about Squid Game at all, which probably helped me enjoy it a little bit more. There's not much more to explain other than that. Yeah, high school students getting roped into a game where they must play the game in order to pay off 10 million yen worth of debt, so about like 100,000 US dollars worth of debt, which is obviously a lot for high schoolers. I will admit the show starts off kind of slow, a little boring. I didn't really care much about the characters, but I kept coming back after every episode because every episode was ending in a major cliffhanger, so I just kept going, and I'm really glad I did because the show did get better as it goes along. I just try not to take shows like this too seriously. I kind of like laugh at some of the ideas that are in it. It does go places, and by that I mean like it goes places that Higurashi no Nakukoroni went in like 2006, 2007, whenever that came out. So be warned that if you're not into violence like that, you probably want to ignore this one. But surprisingly, even though it's normally not my thing, I did enjoy it. It's 12 episodes. This is only the first season. There's definitely going to be more, and honestly, it kind of has me a little bit interested in the manga. The next show on my list is way lighter, a much needed show after watching something like Tomodachi Game, RPG Fudosan or RPG Real Estate. This is a show that takes place kind of in another world, but it's not directly isekai. It's just the setting is this medieval kind of RPG fantasy setting. The main character is named Kotone, and she starts to work a job at a housing real estate business in this fantasy world. And it is one of those shows that's just like cute girls doing cute things, but I really think that it's a really interesting idea to see what a housing real estate business would be like in a fantasy world. So for example, you have a client come in and she needs to find the perfect home for her and her Pegasus, her pet Pegasus, or there's a dragon that just attacked all of these towns and he's looking for a home through this real estate. Just like all these kind of a little bit ridiculous scenarios, but honestly creative enough that it kept me going. I do love these anime that are not difficult to watch and just have these like cute girl characters, and it's pretty relaxing. I would recommend this show if you're into stuff like Order as a Rabbit, very similar. This is probably one where I feel like the manga might be better as well. I'm actually not sure of the source material. I think it's manga. I just thought the episode-to-episode scenarios in the show of like what it would be like to be a real estate agent in a fantasy world and all of the quirks that people have coming in looking for specific types of homes, I thought it was a really cool idea, and for that reason, it made number 4 on the list. Number 3 is Aharen-wa Hakarenai. Actually, I think it's easier to say Hakarenai in like the Japanese title of the show rather than Aharen is indecipherable. That's a hard word, indecipherable. Try to say it yourself. This is one of those shows where it takes place in a high school and it's a boy and a girl sitting in the back of the classroom next to each other, and the girl is always interesting and the boy is always interested in her, and all these like antics ensue. You've probably seen shows like this if you're into Tonari no Seki-kun, or if you're into Takagi-san, Teasing Master Takagi-san. You'll really be into this type of show. Actually, this is probably one of my, if not my favorite show, definitely one of my favorite shows in terms of the genre that is we're in the back of the classroom at our desks and we do all of these antics. There were so many times where I'm laughing out loud at this show. Definitely one of the funniest of the season, definitely one of the cutest of the season, and I really just like both of the characters. Sometimes with these shows I find the girl annoying, like in Nagatoro is a good example of one of these like teasing shows, but I don't actually like Nagatoro all that much. And then there's shows where like the guy character is just really boring, but in this show I think both characters are really interesting and very funny. So if you want to give a show like this a try, Aharen would be the one. Number 2 is Paripi Koumei. The English translation, for some reason, the English translators made the title for this show Ya Boy Kong Ming. They knew what they were doing. They brought the memes along. Definitely one of the most random shows of the season. So you have this ancient Chinese military tactician from ancient China who gets isekai'd, I don't know another word for it, transferred to modern day Tokyo, quickly learns about modern day Tokyo and ends up helping an aspiring singer, like EDM singer who works at an like EDM club. I know it's hard to connect those dots. I realize that, but it somehow works and is funny and engaging, and even if that doesn't make sense to you, give it a try, because the animation and the music, especially because it's basically an EDM music inspired anime, Kong Ming takes the tactics that he used being like a military tactician and uses that in order to help Eiko, who's the girl who's an aspiring EDM singer, like get a lot of followers and bring a lot of people to her concerts and basically make her become famous because she wants to participate in like the world's biggest EDM shows and stuff like that. So as I said, it's hard to connect the dots, but trust me, this one really took me by surprise. With good music, good animation, lovable characters, it was funny. It doesn't matter that the scenario is a little bit ridiculous. I think that if you're into especially EDM music and you enjoy clubbing, you'll really like this show. And the last one on the list, number 1, I don't think it's hard for you guys to figure it out. It was number 1 on a lot of people's lists, so it comes at no surprise, it comes at no surprise that my favorite anime of the season was Spy Family. It's Spy Family, like if you don't already know it, I guess I'll explain it anyway. Warring nations have an organization where they hire a spy to create a family, just like find a wife, find a child, and send that child to this prestigious school where another student's father is a politician that is threatening the peace of nations. So Twilight, the spy, actually ends up adopting a daughter who's a telepath and gets a wife that's an assassin. So you have a telepath, a spy, and an assassin living together. And craziness ensues. And you know what? This is under the shonen genre, and usually I get really tired of shonen shows, and gosh, I'm so impressed with the quality. I'm a manga reader for Spy Family too, so I knew what it was gonna be going in, but I really liked that the anime has added in content. Seeing everything animated has been so cool. I'm just looking forward to more. I love the characters, the soundtrack is great. I just love everything about it, and I want more. I know Aharen-san might be the funniest show of the season, but Spy Family could also take it. It's the mix of home life, school life, and action, and it just mixes together very, very well. Oh, and comedy. Everything mixes together really well. Anyway, guys, those are my top anime of spring 2022. Hope you enjoyed, and what were some of your favorite anime of the season? I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to push like if you like it, and comment below what your favorite animes have been lately. Thanks for watching.